Welcome back, everyone, to pitch session 2. It's gonna get dramatic in here. Oh God. I got enough sleep. It's all good. I'm Daniel. I'm the industry director here at the festival, and I hope you're doing well. I hope you enjoyed that first round of pitches, which were fantastic, and I can't wait to figure out who's gonna be winning that one. So good. And yeah, want to thank the Harold Greenberg Fund, who's our industry series sponsor, overall sponsor. We have a lot of great industry programming, including our Indigenous VR Spotlight that's happening this afternoon at 1:45 in the Digital Media Arcade. So that's on the second floor, just as you're coming up the escalators. And please check out, come to that and check out and engage with all of our interactive works this year. We have 3 VR experiences, 3 games, a web series, an interactive website, and I think that's it, but that's enough. So please check that out on the second floor of the Digital Media Arcade. So I want to especially thank you to all of our esteemed artists and industry participants, including our wonderful jury this year, for offering their time and energy to this event. It's much appreciated. And so this imaginative short drama pitch competition is presented by the Aboriginal Peoples Television Network, and so we want to thank them for their generosity in volunteering to be on jury, but also just to make this event happen. It's fantastic, and we've been doing it for every year that I've been here, so we're very thankful. I also want to thank our other pitch supporters: Bravo Fact, William F. White, the NFB, TIFF, and with Toronto, and would now like to introduce Deborah Day, 10-year pitch mentor. We're going to do bigger and better things. It's just going to keep going. CEO and Chief Strategist of Innovate by Day, who will lead the pitch event. Thank you, Deborah.
Thank you. The only thing I hate about the 10-year thing is it's starting to age me a little. You know, I did start this when I was about 20.
You told me this. She asked for it. One thing I meant to mention at the last out in the hallway at the information table, we have sheets for our micro meetings event that's on Friday. So you can go and see what spots are still available and sign up after this, or we'll also have them in the arcade. So they'll be available until 4:15 today to sign up, and then we'll slot you all in and hopefully have a good time tomorrow. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Daniel. Well, for those who weren't here for the first session, I want to acknowledge again Imaginative for inviting me back. I absolutely love this festival. I love the filmmakers I've worked with and have met over the years. It is a privilege, so thank you all so much. And it's really exciting to see the films and the filmmakers each year return and to see their work and how they've evolved. So it's really wonderful. So we have the dramatic pitch now. Like the short pitch, we're going to have our panelists come up and you'll meet them. And then we're going to have 3 pitches and a wild card pitch. So if you were one of the people who wanted to have the possibility of being a wild card pitch, I hope you made sure that you got your card into the pile outside. And if you haven't, you got to scoot out there and do that right away. And then... so each pitch will be 5 minutes long and up to 10 minutes of questions. So first, I would like to ask each of the panelists to come up. We'll start with Rachel. Rachel Feldblum Wood is the grants administrator for Bravo Fact. And Bravo Fact is also one of the sponsors of this lovely event. And Rachel, I'm hoping you could talk to us a little bit about the evolution of Bravo Fact and the process.
Sure. First of all, it's great to be here today. This is a really exciting event. In terms of the evolution of Bravo Fact, we've been around since 1995. And in that time, we've provided about $30 million in funding for short films. Things have changed a little bit in terms of what we're looking for in an application. So I don't know if anyone's familiar, if you've seen any of the old Bravo Facts, but...
Can you put it closer?
Sure.
There we go.
We used to fund a lot of performance-based film, dance pieces, things like that, and we've actually changed our mandate to fund more linear plots.
Okay.
So we're interested in diverse storytelling, and subject matter is really limitless as long as there's a linear narrative.
Is there still the time constraint, like the length of the piece?
Yes, but we have actually changed the runtime maximum.
Okay.
So we have two streams. At Bravo Fact, we have Fact, which is for narrative shorts, and Factual for documentary shorts.
Okay.
So for the Fact stream, we're looking for projects up to 10 minutes, and for Factual, up to 15.
Got it. Okay, great.
Yeah.
And what about timelines for application?
So we have 4 deadlines a year. Our next deadline's December 2nd, and that's for the narrative short stream. And then, so it usually takes us about 3 months to process everything, deliberate, and announce the results. And then at that point, once the results are announced, the filmmakers have like between 4 and 6 months to make the film. If they execute the paperwork quickly, it's almost a full 6 months, but we have about 2 months built in there of just, fully executing the award agreement and doing all that stuff, getting the payment process set up. So it's about 6 months in total.
Okay, wonderful. And now, can you give us any inside tips?
Inside tips. So we're just really interested in something new. I mean, we're looking for creative storytelling. We're looking for great writing. Script is number one. Having a good cast and crew on board is essential, but the script is really the key. It's the ticket. So yeah, we really encourage as many people as possible to apply. We want to let people know that we're interested in funding from all regions of Canada. We're not just an Ontario funder, although we're happy to receive Ontario applications. And yeah, we mandated in 2015 the Year of the Female Filmmaker Initiative. So what that is basically we're now calling it the Female Filmmaker Initiative, and 50% of our funds in perpetuity will be given to female-led projects. So that's something to consider.
That's very cool. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Thanks. Okay. Well, and you're around, so people
I am
can
around,
meet you.
and our content coordinator Norma Garcia, she's actually in the audience right there. She's
Stand up, Norma. People can't see it. There we go.
So if anybody is interested in applying, check out our website bravofact.com and contact Norma.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Okay, great. Okay, Melanie. Melanie Nipinek-Hadley is the executive in charge of production at CBC. And I just learned today, I knew you were at CBC, but I didn't realize you're based in Toronto. So, woohoo, lucky me. Lucky. Thank you for being here.
I assume this means we're going to go on day dates or something.
Yeah.
We better. I love day dates.
Okay, good.
Yeah, so no, I was at APTN previously. I moved over to CBC about 6 months ago. So I'm executive in charge of production for drama. But I was actually just catching up with an old APTN friend of mine and was...
Long time friend.
a gorgeous APTN friend of mine, and was saying that it's really interesting. CBC is a very big place, but I still end up getting people are knocking on my door constantly being like, listen, I know you're the exec on Heartland, which is one of the bigger properties I oversee, but can you look at this 2-minute piece that's being done for CBC Arts and let us know if it's like okay, or let us know if this is like authentic, or this pitch that we got. So even though my job is really overseeing shows such as Heartland, I have another show coming up in the new year called Pure about the Mennonite drug smuggling ring. But not only am I overseeing very dramatic properties like that, I'm also advising, going around to different departments within CBC and trying to lend my expertise and kind of perspective as a First Nations person and someone who's worked in the community for my whole career.
Nice. Can you tell us about pitching and making an approach to CBC, please?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I have to admit, coming to CBC, I was really surprised at how approachable it is. The only thing that you're probably really gonna run into is if you wanted to book a pitch, it is actually significant. There's a significant time in advance you have to book them. The way that their fiscal year runs is on the calendar year. So about this time of year, we're just at the tail ends of our development fund. But we are open year round. So the door is always open. The CBC Independent Producers website actually just has kind of a generic drama pitch email address, which I think I may have listed somewhere. I don't know. I feel like it's CBC drama, but I don't want to mislead anybody. So maybe circle back around to me tomorrow and I'll tell you what it is. I'll double check. But you would email them and tell them, you know, what your idea is and what it is you want to bring, and then they could slot you in. However, another kind of more meaningful way to get your foot in the door would be to seek out partnerships for producers that are already working with the network. So, you know, being familiar with the productions that we are already doing, whether they're based on Indigenous projects or not, and whether they're for scripted or unscripted, taking a look at those production companies and seeing how you can partner up. The door is still closed in that way, and that we are still kind of investing in companies that we have been for a long period of time, but it is becoming more attractive to us if those companies are also opening up their doors to bring up people with, you know, a different perspective.
Is that because of the size of budgets and
That's really what it comes down to,
productions?
and the speed. Like, you know, the speed at which things are pitched and come off the ground sometimes are a lot faster than you might think.
Right.
You know, this program that is going to broadcast in the winter is something that we just saw earlier this year.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So it was developed and
Greenlit.
ordered for production, being delivered, and then, you know, 9 months later will be on television. So it is very quick, and so we want to make sure that the people that we're working with kind of know their way around CBC, because it has
production schedules.
yeah, it has all these huge kind of things that you need to know about it, right?
That's so true. Okay,
Yeah.
great. Any other tidbits?
I mean, it's interesting because CBC has their, you know, desire of what they're looking for, and it really is about an authentic perspective on the Canadian experience, whether it's somebody who's newly immigrated here or period pieces here. And I think that it's so broad that it's really hard to say to somebody, this is what we're looking for. But if I can say anything for myself, and in the short time I've been there and the pitches that I've been in, something that has been that always catches people's attention is these parts of Canada that are existing and are happening that nobody has really like shined a light on. Like Blackstone did it. Those stories that are so rich that are happening in all of our lives, but that are not presented on a mainstream media. I think particularly for the Indigenous community, we have all these. There's no universal Indigenous story. There's all these little groups that have such unique stories to tell that are so rich, but also have a universal component to it. So I think like really it's about like educating yourself, your self-reflection, and seeing which stories you can pull from your own communities.
Well, it's sort of like, I mean, it makes me think of a couple of shows that are on right now, like Shoot the Messenger or Kim's Convenience.
Yeah.
Like, you know, imagine if that was set in, you know, an Indigenous community somewhere else, right? So
Right.
you're right.
And I think too, even for myself, I always am looking for stories. This is my own agenda. This is not the CBC agenda. But I'm always looking for stories that I'm reading it and I'm like, oh, this is a great story. These are great characters and these are very real people. And then on the back end, I'm like, oh my God, this is about an Indigenous family. Like I totally,
Right.
that was not the lead. The lead was this really rich characters and these really authentic people. Can I say authentic more though? Could I? Like, I feel like I've said it like 10 times since I've been up here.
Got it. Be authentic.
Authentic. Oh,
Thank
I hate
you.
that word. Sorry, guys.
All right.
Yeah,
Appreciate
come
it.
see me. Ask me questions. I'm
Super.
just a crazy person all the time.
Okay. Next, Tanya. Tanya Gauthier is Manager of Programming Western Region at APTN. So that's BC, Alberta, and Yukon, right?
Yeah.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Nice comfortable chair this time.
I know. I'm actually happier for the lower chairs. APTN
Yeah.
is a great network to work with. I think some people have worked with them before. And can you talk to us about approaching the network and what sort of the best course of action is? And I will tell you that of the pictures from today, 2 of them are from your region.
Yeah. I know, it's exciting. Okay, well, I'll start first by talking about a couple of opportunities I think that Nadia didn't mention before. So now I get to talk about it.
Great.
One would be the Emerging Director Program. APTN does this once every year. And this program, it's for budgets up to 200,000. And it's to help emerging directors sort of get their foot in the door. And so normally what happens is maybe they work with production companies, you know, or they create partnerships, you know, to help them. That's quite a large budget for an emerging director. But it works. We make it work. The other thing is we have opportunities now for feature film. We just, last year we did an RFP for licensing and development of feature films. So we are now looking to support Aboriginal filmmakers in Canada and support the feature film industry as well.
We're talking scripted?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the development, we developed some projects. The budget on that was 20,000 for development and 150,000 for licensing of a feature film. And the reason we did that is because, you know, we want to help filmmakers sort of kickstart the funding for the rest of their film. And we'll also, of course, air it on APTN at some point. So those are opportunities I think are relevant to this audience. I can see some when I talk about the budgets, I see some people going, "What?" But you know, actually, you know, it's completely manageable. At APTN, we're okay with partnerships. So, say if you're an emerging filmmaker, you know, you've gone to school or maybe not, but you creatively you've got it under control. But maybe there's a whole business aspect to production that maybe you don't understand, but you could do a partnership. We're okay with that as long as the Aboriginal producer owns at least 51% of the project. And we have some other rules too, like 2 out of 3 positions above the line, director, writer, producer, and so on, have to be Aboriginal people. You have to have an Aboriginal training plan, because obviously as APTN, we want to ensure that Aboriginal people, you know, are in control of the financial and creative aspects of any production.
Great. All right. And is there any specific timelines other than the one that you were just talking about, the director's one?
Like as far as getting
Applying and approaching.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, that's a good question. So we take in development all year round, so you can do that at any time. But you know, as filmmakers, you have to know your funding deadlines, right? When does the money come out for CMF? When are all these deadlines? Shaw Rocket Fund, all these different things. So what I tell producers who I work with is develop your ideas early in the year. So, you know.
And early in the year being the fiscal year?
Yeah, like
Your fiscal or?
like CMF, their money opens, their envelopes
April.
open April 1st, I believe, around there, anyway, around there. So you want to be positioning yourself for when those envelopes open.
Right.
Right. So you want to be fully developed by the time April comes around. That's all I'm saying. And get in early, because sometimes those funds deplete, right? It's first come, first serve. So you don't want to be like pitching, development in December or November. Get in there early. Get in there in the first 6 months of the year.
We've also seen some digital first series coming out of APTN, right? You're launching digitally, and then
Yeah. I mean, we could talk about that. I mean, for
just briefly. I mean, I just think it's interesting because it's a different model.
you're
Is that wrong? Should I not talk about it?
No, because I'm the person to talk to about that. I really, I mean, I want to work with, it's important to us to work with emerging producers. Our target demo is 18 to 34-year-olds. And, you know, we want to talk to content creators that know how to reach and speak to millennials, essentially. And what the millennials know really well is the digital landscape, right? As broadcasters, we have to understand that things are changing. There's a changing digital reality out there. Audiences can get content on many platforms in many different ways, and we need producers to understand that. So when you come to us, come to us with a really solid digital plan. That's really important. And you know what?
That's specifically for series, though, isn't it? More than it is for
but you
feature
know
or
what?
one?
I'm pushing, internally we're talking more about digital content and the importance of that, and how that's a good kickstart. It's a good way to build capacity within the industry. So I hope that answers your question.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
Thank you. Great. Thanks for being here. And you're here for the next few days.
Yes, and if you have any, if you want to talk to any of us, there's 3 regional managers, and we're all very approachable.
I think that's true.
And I think if I were to give you any advice, just be bold and come and talk to us. And we're just people, and just like you, and get a card and follow up later. Give us a call. Yeah,
Follow up is such
follow up is
so
huge
true.
because
Yeah.
like we meet so many people at these festivals, and then when you get home, follow up. Just say, hey, it was nice to meet you. Here's a link to something I recently did, and just keep yourself seen by executives. Keep because we're so busy, right? Like we travel all over the place. We're constantly. It's like being on a speeding train, of
Okay.
contracts, and like it just never stops. You're constantly moving. So to get noticed, by an executive, you have to kind of reach out. Business is about relationships. So just that's what I would say. Follow up, reach out, stay
Stay in
connected.
touch.
That would be it.
Keep at these festivals too.
Yes.
It's really good. Thank you.
Okay. You're
Okay.
welcome.
So before we begin, I'm just going to recap the amazing prizes that are available today for the winners. So first is a $5,000 cash prize from APTN with broadcast eligibility, $2,500 cash from Bravo Fact, $2,500 gift voucher from William F. White. Greg, are you in the room? There he is. See the guy, Greg? See this guy here? This is Greg, and he's very interested in meeting digital producers. So just there's a little shout out there. $500 gift certificate from Technicolor for post-production services. A TIFF 2016 conference pass valued at $450. A Women in Film and Television membership and program pass. Men can can have those memberships too, just for clarity. Somebody had asked that. Year-round interactive consultation with a producer from the NFB Digital Studio, and an imaginative supported Kickstarter funding webpage. So, once again, rules are 5 minutes for the pitch, up to 10 minutes Q&A from our panelists, and we will begin with our first pitch. Please welcome Sonia.
Sorry, I'm just waving at everybody. Forgot my phone, so I won't take a selfie up here. All right, just let me know when I can go. All right. So my name is Sonia Ballantyne, and I'm a Cree filmmaker from northern Manitoba. My film Crash Site, the winner of the Gimli Film Festival pitch competition, is playing here on Saturday at Femme Total at 2:30. And I hope you'll go see it. It's really good. Well, I think so. Crash Site was largely influenced by Marvel superhero films, which I adore. The film I am pitching today is inspired by my love of the fantasy genre. It's called Eagle Girl. Fantasy has always been one of my favorite genres, as it has meshed the worldview it meshes well with the worldview my grandmother created for me through her bedtime stories that she told me. Like my favorite author Tolkien, Grandma's stories had animals that could speak and turn into people, regular people that go on grand adventures, and these huge parties where everybody always has a good time. Eagle Girl is set at a huge party, a powwow on the Thickfoot First Nation, a reserve where powwow dancers are chosen for an innate ability they possess. Rosie, an 11-year-old girl, has the ability to heal. Rosie's wheelchair-bound grandmother asks her to go through a basket of rotten strawberries to find good ones. After a moment of holding the basket, Rosie gives it back to her grandmother and goes to get her regalia. Her grandma looks at the basket and sees that the strawberries are fresh. Unexpectedly, Rosie's older sister is also attending the powwow. Shannon is a prize-winning butterfly dancer and incredibly beautiful. As a newer jingle dress dancer, and at her very first powwow, Rosie feels overshadowed and inadequate when compared to her older sister. She tells herself, "Who would want to see a nerd dance in tin cans?" Rosie tells her grandmother that she's going to go change, but starts sneaking home. As she enters the woods, a young eagle is being harassed by 3 magpies that cause the little bird to crash into the woods further in. Rosie hears yelling, and rushes forward. 3 filthy old hags in black and white regalia are clawing at a young girl about Rosie's age in a feathered fancy shawl. One of the filthy women pulls the girl's shawl free. Rosie yells out and twirls her jingle dress in the air, chasing the women. The sound of her jingle dress blasts through the woods and scares the hags away. Rosie snatches the shawl back and checks on the girl. The feathered girl happily takes it back and thanks Rosie. The girl asks why Rosie is leaving the powwow so soon. Rosie tells her. The feathered girl tells Rosie that Rosie isn't her sister, but that's a good thing. Her sister has her own talents, as does Rosie. The feathered girl tells her a story. I have a sister, and she always makes fun of me for the time I got kicked by a rabbit when we were hunting, but she always falls into the river when we go fishing. The girl sees that Rosie's beaded hair barret is empty, so she takes a feather from her shawl and puts it in the barret. We have to dance our own dance, the girl tells her. The feathered girl thanks Rosie again and takes to the sky and becomes an eagle. Rosie quickly changes to a regalia and heads back to the powwow. She waves to her grandmother, seated in her wheelchair in the front, and starts to dance. The jingles of her dress reverberate through the powwow grounds, and as the dance ends, her grandma stands to applaud her. I was inspired to write Eagle Girl through stories told to me by my good friends, Sage, a grass dancer, and Shannon, a jingle dress dancer. It was Shannon that told me about the jingle dress's power to heal. Through these stories, powwow became so magical to me. It was almost like a superpower of its own. As an added component of Eagle Girl, I would love to create a podcast where dancers of all specialities can speak about their first times dancing in public. And I would love to create a simple interactive website for children or a storybook that focuses on the story of Rosie and Eagle Girl. Eagle Girl takes place in a magical realist world in the same vein as traditional Cree and Ojibwe stories, with a dash of Tolkien mythos. It is my goal to continue to expand the content of Aboriginal films with stories like Eagle Girl and Crash Site, so young Aboriginal girls can have characters in films that look like them. Thank you.
Oh, no, it's here.
Oh.
You did it. Thank you. Okay. That's my superpower. Question?
Hi. My question is just about cast. Are you at the stage yet where you know who you would want to participate in the project?
Yeah, I hate to make her my Leonardo DiCaprio, but Crash Site has this wonderful girl named Jade Hamelin, who was the older child version of Lina in We Were Children. She was also in Crash Site, my first film. I would either like her to play the lead character herself or the older sister, because Jade is incredibly beautiful. So I think she could get away with it. And so I've been thinking really hard about cast right now, because it is difficult to find kid actors that haven't been molded by other people yet, if that makes sense. I would probably go with unknowns, especially for the Eagle Girl. I like the idea of Eagle Girl being this little weirdo who her feathers are all ruffled and stuff and like kind of chubby. So it's been an active process right now.
Great, thank you.
I just have a question about, actually I have two questions.
Yeah.
So one would be, and you sort of answered this already, but what would be, like a lot of the short films I see, they're, I guess my question is, what would be the underlying message that you're trying to communicate to audiences? That's the first question. And the second one was, how would you deal with the effects?
One of the big messages of this film was I really wanted to get across how magical and powerful powwow is. I've always been blown away by the power of it. Well, I keep saying power, but I've always been really surprised by how taboo it was always considered in the historical past. I always, when I was a little girl, and we used to my grandma used to hate powwow because she thought it was heathenistic, and so I always thought it was because we were practicing witchcraft while we were doing it. So I continue growing up thinking about that. Like maybe there's a reason why the priests hated us dancing, and so these powerful images of butterfly dancers who can levitate when they twirl, that sort of thing. So I always like that idea of bringing the true power of Indigenous stories, like the power that oral story has, bringing it into a film narrative and showing how cool it is to see an eagle become a girl or a girl become an eagle. So I really love oral history like that. The second question of how would I deal with that? Well, I've been dealing with that with Crash Site because of how people, because Crash Site has a girl who runs away from home. She gets into a fight with her sister and runs away from home. And people ask if that's a message about murdered and missing Indigenous women. And I'm like, no, it's just about this girl who had a fight with her sister. And so I often face questions like that where there's a deeper underlying theory. And each time I have a deep underlying theory of why I made it, it's usually not the one people come up with. It's like, I like the idea of Aboriginal girls being the heroes of their own stories and not needing to be saved. They save themselves. I hope you can't hear the chattering of my teeth.
Thanks for your pitch. It's always so nerve-wracking. You did
Yeah.
a great job. I think for myself, one question I actually have two questions too, but the first one is, how are you going to sort of reconcile the sort of traditional protocols that a lot of Indigenous storytellers have to face when they're trying to take stories and reimagine them in a more contemporary style? Is there a consultant or somebody that you're working with?
Yes, Sage is my sort of medicine man. He's right there. And he is the reason why a lot of some of the he's Ojibwe and I'm Cree, but a lot of the stories he tells me about growing up as a grass dancer in the powwow circuit have inspired a lot of the stories that we tell together. I've also, Eagle Girl was originally about the eagle from The Hobbit, and Rosie meeting the eagle from The Hobbit. But I realized that would be a lot more difficult to tell than trying to get a Sundance filmed. So, but in seriousness, no, I think it's something that I continue to do very thoughtfully and with a lot of thought going into it, just because I don't want to create a hipster headdress sort of situation or a Spirit of Halloween thing where the culture is being sold. I don't like that, and I think that with the films I create, not to be all like about me, but the films I create, I try to present Native people as people first, because I think for too long they've been shown as a definition, the stoic cigar store Indian or tiger lily or something like that. And so I've always tried to show the people first, then the culture. Hope that answers your question.
Oh, no, totally. And my last question, and I feel like you've already touched on it a little bit, but who is the film for?
The film is largely for children in the Pixar type style, where it can be appreciated by adults. Because I do feel that there is a bias towards children's films, that they're never serious. That they're never serious stories that would win Oscars. But Beauty and the Beast is a children's story and it got nominated for an Oscar. God willing, that'll happen for me. But it's I feel that just because it's a children's story doesn't mean it downplays the fact that it can play for everybody. I think that's something that I've embraced with oral history, that a story Sage has told me that he's heard as a child is meant for kids to hear about a campfire, but it's also meant as a lesson for adults.
Any other questions? No? Tanya, you good? Wonderful. Thank you very much, Sonia. Congratulations.
Almost fell down the stairs.
All right. Mm. Kara, come on up.
Bonjour. Bazan Bakwe Nadijnakas, Nagojawaning Donjaba. My name is Kara Mumford. My spirit name is woman of peaceful waters. I am Métis of Anishinaabe descent. My family's from Alberta, but I currently live in Peterborough, Ontario, the heart of Michi-Saagiik Anishinaabeg territory. I'm a writer, director, and producer of 7 short films, all of which have screened here at iN17. I was recently invited by producer Paula Devonshire to shadow the director on the film adaptation of Richard Wagamese's Indian Horse. Today I'll be pitching a story, a 10-minute short, that is set 150 years in the future as a counter-narrative to the 150th anniversary of Confederation. The film also connects to 2 other projects that I'm working on. Well, 3 hopefully. In 2015, I won the Imagining Indigenous Futurism's science fiction short story writing contest with a related short story called The Whale Danced. It will be published next month in Red Ink magazine, and it's hopefully the first in a series of interconnected short stories that will explore this red card world. I've also been commissioned by the Art Gallery of Peterborough to create an interactive installation about the red card, encapsulating and exploring and contextualizing the world in this film for their Futurisms exhibit next spring. I've also applied for the NFB Interactive program to create an interactive website about this world as well. In 2167, the Michi-Saagiik Anishinaabeg have regained much of their territory while the rest of the Canada has descended into a dystopia with food, energy, and water all insecure. In the sovereign nation of the Michi-Saagiik, however, they have found sustainable solutions, and all of its inhabitants are secure within its borders. As a result, non-Indigenous people have begun applying for their red card in order to live and work on the territory. Adjacent to this territory is a farmers' settlement which is aligned with the Michi-Saagiik Anishinaabeg, with whom they trade goods and services. Living in this red card world is Migizi Kwe, Eagle Woman, the film's title character, a traditional midwife delivering babies to Indigenous and non-Indigenous families alike. Migizi Kwe is a strong Anishinaabe woman, a protector, a warrior, a leader, a hero. At the beginning of the film, Migizi Kwe hears about a corporate city being built in Canada. She learns that the corporation is kidnapping children under 12 to populate the city so that they will only ever remember life as a corporate citizen. A deep fear overtakes Migizi Kwe. Blood memory is triggered. The children of her territory are safe, but what about the farmers' children? Migizi Kwe rushes to the farmers' settlement only to find it in flames. One young girl hides in the woods where Migizi Kwe finds her, just as one of the corporate henchmen spies her as well. Migizi Kwe and the girl run towards the safety of the Anishinaabeg territory. 100 feet from the border, the girl falls. Migizi Kwe puts her body between the girl and their pursuer, knife drawn. She informs the man in no uncertain terms that this girl and all of the children of the farmers' settlement are under the protection of the Michi-Saagiik Anishinaabeg, and he has no claim to them. But the man doesn't care. As he lunges towards the girl, members of the Anishinaabeg Nation emerge from the surrounding woods, encircling them, restraining him. Migizi Kwe helps the girl up, and the community clears a path for the 2 of them to walk across the border in safety. The film focuses on the importance of kinship, not just blood relationships, and offers a glimpse of hope in an insecure future. I'd like to take this opportunity to show a short concept video featuring art by my collaborator, Jamie Whitecrow. If we could roll clip. Yep. Thanks.
Hi, I'm just wondering about the budget. I don't know if you've worked that out yet, but what sort of budget are you looking at for this film?
I'm looking to do it fairly cheaply in terms of using the production end of things, using my own equipment, and using people that I've worked with locally in Peterborough. And it will be filmed largely outdoors in the trails at Trent and using their environmental sciences building. So the money's going to go towards wardrobe in production to really sort of give it that futuristic look. And then in post-production, there are things I want to composite as well, just in sort of wide shots, to, again, set it very strongly in this red card world. But I also have friends who have favors. So I'm prepared to do this within the budget that would be the prize, by calling in favors and using my own equipment.
Gotcha. Thank you.
My question would be, can you tell this story in a short film?
Yes, I'm quite confident in the script that we've got. The details of the world might not all be in the script, but they're contextualized in related programming with the installation at the Art Gallery of Peterborough, and hopefully a website as well. Well, I'd like to go after the website regardless of whether I am successful with the NFB Interactive, but that was the start of my thinking about the website.
Thank you for your pitch. I actually don't. Tanya asked my question. Thanks, Tanya.
Anything else? Well, congrats. Thank you very much, Cara.
Thank you. Of course.
Okay. Last but not least, Cody and Josh.
Thank you for not calling me Corey.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Cody Lightning, and my name is Joshua Jackson. And just by show of hands, who here has seen the movie Smoke Signals? Pretty much all of you, right? Can you guys believe that that movie is almost 20 years old? In 2018, actually, it's going to be the 20th anniversary. And for those of you who don't know, my friend here, Cody, played the role of young Victor, which is Adam Beach's character in the film.
Can't you tell?
And what we're pitching today is kind of based on that. The project is called Little Victor.
I am little Victor. Little L, little I, little T, another little T, a little L, a little E, capital V, capital ICTOR. That's me.
And for those of you who don't know, who's here seen the movie Home Alone? Are you guys? Yeah, all of you, right? So basically what our general idea is that Cody is a renowned actor. He's been in very many projects, a lot of them with huge names, really large celebrities. But it's kind of like the Home Alone effect. Macaulay Culkin's been in a lot of new films as well, but the only way people remember him is Kevin McAllister from Home Alone. So what Cody and I are doing is basically riding on the fact that he has been Macaulay Culkin. Honest to God, whenever I introduce Cody, I sometimes have to do it. He played Little Victor in Smoke Signals.
Oh,
Oh,
I know
yeah.
him. Yeah. So I've had several films show here at iMaginative all around the world. My film, Four Sheets to the Wind, we won Best Feature. Last year we had Chasing the Light. I played Foul-Mouthed Dallas. Our film is based on the character Cody Lightning, who played Little Victor. Everyone knows what happened to Adam Beach in real life, who played Victor. Has a great career, acting in tons of movies. He has his own academy. Everybody knows what happened to Evan Adams. He's a doctor. He's still working in film. He played Thomas. Tantu Cardinal, who played my mother. Gary Farmer. Everyone knows what happened to these people, but what the hell happened to me? I hit the bottom. That was my peak. That was it. The character Cody Lightning, that was his peak, and he's riding it well into his 30s, getting kicked out of bars, clubs, casinos. He thinks it's okay to get your piece of pizza off the table and eat it. Grab your girlfriend by the waist because he can. He's entitled to because he's little Victor. Like he thinks it's okay to do these things, right? So
And the thing is, it's going to be kind of a structured improv style mockumentary. So it's kind of answer the question, what happened to little Victor? And the thing about Cody, and it's absolutely magic, is his ability to do improv stuff. A lot of his films are actually kind of structured, kind of unscripted, and that's kind of the same vein we're going to do as well. It's just a structured improv of him being the character Cody Lightning from Smoke Signals.
yeah, I have Simon Baker who played young Thomas. Locked in. I have Adam Beach willing to work with me. A lot of our cast is going to be working with us through Goodwill, not the store Goodwill where I bought my sweet sweater, but like good, like they're like they owe it to me to act in it, and they've agreed. We have access to a Canon 7D. We have
Some locations on my local reservation that are a little more dilapidated and unlivable than usual.
yeah, like in the story here, I hitchhike down to Los Angeles, break into Adam Beach's house, and try to convince him that I'm him, right? And he calls the cops on me. I'm really riding this thing strong and hard. I want to make a comeback. We're gonna have several lines from the film, like who's your favorite Indian, right? Nobody, nobody, nobody. I'm gonna tell young Thomas, like, bro, when I was down and out, you're the only one that came. You know who helped me? Nobody, nobody, nobody. Like, I'm living the movie, right? I can't let it go. And I think with the 20-year anniversary coming up, it'll work so well with putting it out there to different festivals. We eventually want to make this. We eventually want to make this into a feature film.
Thank you guys very much.
Hate to be ruthless, but
Oh, I
fair is
got you.
fair. Okay, cool. Questions? All right.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for the pitch. It's always nerve-wracking, so you guys did a good job. It's nice that there were two of you. My question is more pertaining to the rights with Smoke Signals, the movie. How are you guys navigating that?
We're not going to be using clips from the film. It is my own film about my life, so we won't have to worry too much about that area. And if we do, we get in touch with Miramax and clear a few things like Frybread Power T-shirt. That's probably the only thing that we'd really have to worry about. It's actually based on actual people, so we won't really have to worry about that area all too much.
Okay, and in terms of length, you'd said that you were looking to make it a feature, but is the project that you're pitching now, is that a feature length or is that?
It's a short,
No, it's
It's a
short.
short.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. And how long are you looking at for the short?
probably about 12.
10 to 12 minutes.
Okay. And okay, so in terms of the people that will be featured in the mockumentary style, you mentioned some of the actors that played. Is there anybody else that you'd be seeing?
Yep, you'd see like my mother, Georgina Lightning, who's a filmmaker as well, doing these somewhat scripted interviews.
Okay.
Like, oh, my son, I love him. He kind of went down a bad path. Or interviewing people, Cody Lightning, who the hell is that? The little Victor kid. Oh, that guy. What the hell did he ever do? Like, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have several people in it who know me personally, but we'll have it somewhat scripted to kind of bash my.
Character.
Of course. All right, that's it for me.
My question is, like, can you give me your log line, like just a concise, synopsis of what you're trying to do, and what are the scenarios? Like, I'm trying to get the story. Like, what's the story in the short? Like, what's the
All right.
Storyline.
So basically, the
Story arc.
the question we want to answer fictitiously, of course, is what happened to little Victor? And the story is basically following him in his life now, that is seriously gone down the wrong path. Lots of partying, lots of inappropriate lewd behavior, and the scenarios take place basically him still riding the wave of the character. There's going to be lots of scenes on the res. There's going to be lots of scenes in houses with people, and just kind of how he kind of just lives his life day to day. And it's going to go into him being helped out by
Simon Baker. I call Simon Baker, and he comes to help me out and bring me back to, I'm looking to Simon to revive my career. So he comes in and helps me out and lets me know that I am little Victor and I can do it.
So I guess I'm just wondering how true to life this is. Like, is it a complete mockumentary?
Right?
Or-
Right?
I'm just
So
wondering why the choice mockumentary over documentary, basically.
Well, it's not very true to life at all. It's it's very over embellished, over dramatized, kind of more humorously, creative liberties and stuff like that. So it's really over dramatic kind of version of him in a kind of a parallel universe where he may have not done all the projects that he's done since and kind of stuff like that. Yeah.
Any other questions? Tanya, you're looking very contemplative. Oh yes.
No.
It's a Australian or New Zealand. Sorry, guys.
Everybody
worked on
knows this.
It's so
Taika's
good.
movie? Oh, okay.
What We Do in the Shadows. Yes, it does.
Oh, okay.
It's great.
Not to compare our project to anything else, but just to give you it would be filmed like somewhat of like reality, like following me around, even though it is fake, but I'd be making it real in my life, kind of being absolutely obnoxious and entitled to things.
Like an true Hollywood story. A real resed out Hollywood story.
So how long would it be? Like in terms of a short film, can you get through all this and get your message across and make audiences laugh and
Yeah,
tie it all
absolutely.
up by like in a short, concise period of time?
Yep,
Yeah.
it'd be 10 to 12 minutes long, and like I said, eventually, if it gains some recognition and some momentum,
There's
we'd
so
like
much
to make
content.
we'd like to make it into a feature eventually, but yeah, we want to start with a short. And
We're
just
very confident,
put it
and
out there.
we can squeeze it out in 12 minutes for sure.
Thank you. Well done.
Thank you.
Good work. All right. Well, thank you, and congrats to our 3 pitches. Wonderful. Good job, you guys. Where's the third? There she is. Now it's time for the wild card pitch. Not looking. It's good. Who said I looked? All right. Kim Wheeler. Kim. Wow. What a missed opportunity. Bye-bye. Not here, you're not going to get it. It's just the way it works. Come on, guys. You got to write it so I can read it. Michael, right on. Come on, Michael. Bring it. Okay, Michael, same rules apply. You got 5 minutes, and I'm going to give you a signal of 30-second warning to the end.
Yeah. Thank you for the acknowledgement, and thank you for the opportunity once again being here in Ontario. I'm from out west. Other than that, this short drama pitch is going to be called 36 heavens and 36 grounds. Now there's an old saying in Fuji, China, that there was two kings that committed suicide in order to create a divine comedy of Dante's Inferno, which meant you have 4 stages of hell in China. One of the stories I'm topicing on is suicide. You have a young man that's questioning God about his lost love. And you have a lost love that's a female that's haunting him. Why didn't you come look for me? Why didn't you take me back? But what's really interesting is the dialogue of the 8 pallbearers. The dialogue is the simple concept itself of the young man questioning God as a 35-year-old man. And you have an 18-year-old girl that's talking to him on asking him, why didn't you come look for me? And now you have these men burying their own. It's a short, and the two couple, they meet at the 36 heavens and 36 grounds. You read Divine Comedy, Dante's Inferno, you'll be able to see something on Fuji, China, regarding Taji's Palace. It's called Taji's Palace. It's level 4 of hell, where they make your decision of if you're going to heaven, or else they push you aside and then you fall into the water. That's where you'll be for the rest of your days. This is like not a fantasy, but it's not real, this film. I'm gonna need 8 Caucasian males to be the pallbearer. Caucasian 36-year-old man, an 18-year-old girl, and there's gonna be two locations. If it's gonna be here in Toronto, it'll be at St. Michael's church there, where the dialogue of the female and the male's talking to God, the female's talking to him because she's a spirit already. And then the second is gonna be I guess at 401 Richmond Street, right on Richmond and Spadina, right on that rooftop, hopefully in the spring, where all those pallbearers will have a drink and they'll talk about what happened. How did this guy go out? But there's one pallbearer out there that knows what the hell happened, that knows why he did what he did and why he wanted to meet up with his lost love, to carry on that burden for so long. That's why, we have our heaven where we go out in the spirit world. We call earth hell. But at the same time, there's been a lot of suicide, but this is a film, so I want to bring that aspect of film where the couples will meet together, but in a journey of lost souls, which is very sad. And the budget is 5,000, I guess. It doesn't matter, because 8 pallbearers, 2 days of work, pizza and $50. No, realistically, that's how these things work. Is you buy your actors food, you buy your camera people food, and you give them a few bucks. You find your locations, you get agreement for locations. I already have that set, and I also have camera gear ready to go. It's just that the setting I need to get access to.
Okay.
Other than that, 36 heavens and 36 grounds.
Thank
So,
you,
yeah.
Michael. Right on. Stay there. There might be some questions.
Hi, thanks for that. Who else is working with you on the project, or who have you been working with?
My executive producer, David Plant.
Cool. And for your role in it, would you be wanting to write it and direct it?
Yes.
Let me think about this for a second.
If you actually look on my website, chapter27films.com, you'll see 5 of my short films. I actually showed 2 of them here in 2015 and 2014 as well.
What was that address again?
ACT chapter27films.com. Act chapter27films.com. It's like the Indian status card, your registration number. It says by law, Act Chapter 27, that your registration number is this. So it's easy to remember. Just look at your status card. Yeah. But that's the thing, though, is that I've been coming here for years, and I really want to acknowledge the fact that if I have 5 films in the books already, I really want to take our people to that level of, because we're changing in film, and we gotta keep up with that. So I really want to bring that. I make crime dramas. I make dramas that are bloody. You could call me the indigenous Martin Scorsese, but I don't say that out of boasting. I say that because this is what I imagined ever since I was a child, was to do that for the viewers, to entertain. So with 36 heavens and 36 grounds, I think you guys will feel a real twist. So,
I
go ahead.
just want to I just want to like a comment that I have is I like your attitude. I like how you say, hey, I've got the equipment. I'm going to make this happen no matter what. And so I like that because that shows me that you have a strong vision and you have passion in your heart for what you're doing. And I always look for that in a filmmaker. And so, there's no to sit around and wait for funds, is not the answer, I don't think. And there's a lot of ways for people to see your content if you want them to see it, just like chapter7films.com, right? So anyway, I just wanted to give that comment. Do you think what do you want your audience to feel when they watch your film?
I really similar to Paul Thomas Anderson's The Master with Philip Seymour Hoffman and Joaquin Phoenix have a scene where they have a I think it's 8-minute dialogue, one-on-one conversation. That's about Scientology. I think it's 8 minutes, yeah. But anyways, with the pallbearers, it's gonna be at least a good 9.5 minute of why did he do what he did and how did he do it, and that's gonna be great dialogue to the film. And like I said, he's questioning God, but he doesn't realize being chased by somebody that has already committed suicide due to a breakup.
Okay, I just have a question for you about your previous work. You said that you've done 4 or 5 films before. Can you talk a little bit about them?
I did 5 films. First one was Dead Life Acknowledged, was about me. I guess I lived the out-risk lifestyle, and I called it Dead Life Acknowledged because I wanted people to acknowledge the fact that I wasn't supposed to be here right now. I should be with my grandmother. Speaking on that, my second film was Giving Up the Ghost. I made that for me because I was grieving when my grandmother passed away. from Parkinson's. The third one was an interview one I did for First Story app. And it was called Each Standing in the Other's Light. It was an interview documentary on an elder here in Ontario. Those interview documentaries are very hard to make because that's someone else's story. So you have to be very careful with that when you edit it because that's someone else's story. You gotta treat it correctly like you do your own life. My fourth film is called For When Dying Is a Gift. It's a story about a young man that was attempting to make a drama such as this, but couldn't find funding, and trying to let go of what his goals were in the film industry. But he never let that go. And the fifth one, it hasn't came out yet. Hopefully it'll come out soon. It's called Keepers for the Old People. And that's about my grandfather who went to residential school. And he passed away in May. Along with Bosley, Money Mike, Nelson, Roger Cody, Rabbit, my grandma Rosie, Irma. All the old people are gone now from my reserve. They're gone. So who's gonna carry on those teachings of those old ways? I have a 5-year-old son out west. I'm glad he loves horses. So that's my fifth film. Hopefully it'll be coming out soon. Like I said, I have my own you could check out my films online. And yeah, it's called Keepers for the Old People, so it's mainly about story keeping for elders. But yeah, check me out on my online website. So yeah.
Thank you, Michael. Okay, finish with the questions. Thank you very much, Michael. Appreciate you.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that now wraps up our official pitch for today. Congratulations very much to our pitchers. Well done. Really nice work. And thank you very much to our esteemed panel for being here, for coming back time and time again, and for supporting the filmmakers. It really makes a difference. And thank you, iN17. Enjoy the rest of the festival, everyone. The winners will be announced Saturday night. Is it this theater? It's here at the Lightbox. Well, you'll be directed where to go. And network, enjoy, go see the films, and thank you all. Have a great day.